Hey guys, this is JC from Card Valor. This is the first of many live duels recorded on this channel. Here I am dueling my friend Ethan. The link to his channel is down in the description below. Please let me know what you think of this video, and if you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing. For these live duels, I will be spectating and commenting each play, and as far as the duel is concerned, it will be best 2 out of 3. And at the time of recording, there was no side decking, but that will be added later on the live duels that I do. Today we're playing Despia versus Zefra's Sworsoul. You can find his deck profile in his channel, so you can see his reasoning and the theory behind Ethan's Zefra Sworsoul deck. Starting with game 1, Ethan opens first and starts by activating Oracle Zefra and searches Zefrath. Unfortunately for me, I did not draw any hand traps, so I couldn't interrupt any of his plays. He waits here a little bit, goes ahead and puts the card back in his hand, and then here in a little bit, he will activate Long One. Alright, Ethan's finally activated Long One, pitching the Taya, and gets the token and immediately synchro summons for a level 10 synchro. He decides which synchro 10, and he chooses the level 10 Sworsoul Chising Long One and burns me for 1200. Alright, Chising Long One lands on the board, burns me for 1200. The effect is on the video for you to read, but to summarize, Ethan is focusing this card's effect to banish cards and burn me for 1200 twice. I special summon a monster, he banishes it and burns me for 1200, and if I activate a spell or trap card effect, he can banish it and burn me for another 1200 one more time. He sets a card and ends his turn, passing over to me. I finally make a move and open with normal summoning Fallen of Albaz and using his effect to fuse with Chising Long One, which dodges his banish and burn effects, because he's normal summoned and not special summoned. I take some time to read Chising Long One just to make sure, but that's what I end up going for, which is Fallen of Albaz. Albaz hits the board, and we immediately get Solemn Striked. I did pitch the Edgem Chain, so on a separate chain I activated the Edgem Chain that I discarded, and I added Fry for Patchwork, and activating it right after I added it. You see right here, after I grab the Fry for Patchwork, Ethan grabs this card and reads it again, because he's thinking about whether to banish and burn me here, but decides to wait until I have Polymerization in hand. So he decides not to banish the Fry for Patchwork and burn me for 12. I think he's just going to go ahead and burn me for 12 and banish the Polymerization. Right there, I activate the Polymerization, and he banishes it and burns me for another 1200, knocking me down to 5600. This just showcases how strong of an interaction this new Synchro 10 Sworsoul is. Again, I do have my own variant of Sworsoul. It's in my deck profiles. You can check it out in my channel. He chose to banish the Poly, so if and when I summon Guardian Chimera, he could target it, but that's not what I was going for. He thought I was going to summon Chimera right there, but I don't have a monster in the field, which is one of its summoning conditions. For my fusion summon, I think really hard on this one, so I ended up pitching Tragedy and the Light Hexial to fusion summon Quaeritus. Alright, we finally have the Quaeritus hit the board. Here's the effect on the video, but basically Quaeritus' effect is that I can change the effect of all monsters currently on the field to 0 until the end of the turn, except level 8 or higher fusion monsters. Also, if this card leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, I can add to hand or special summon Albaz or Despia monster. After Quiritus is summoned, I activate Tragedy Engrave and chain with Quiritus, and then Ethan goes to chain link 3 with Cheesing Long 1 and burns me for another 1200 and banishes the Quiritus one last time. Then, level 10 Synchros days are now numbered. I activate the effect of Quiritus to special summon the best card in the deck, Aluber the Jester of Despia. I did add Adlib of Despia from the Tragedy's effect, and when I activated Aluber the Jester of Despia, I did think for a long time on which branded spell or trap I should add. You guys should already know by now what Aluber's effects entail. Whenever he is normal or special summon, grab a branded spell or trap, and it should be branded fusion. But here, I do change it up a bit because I want it to go for the kill. You see me shuffling my extra deck and sifting through it and see how much I can go for. Because the Cheesing Long 1 is already at 0 attack because of the Despian Quiritus. Here in a little bit, you will see me end up choosing to add Branded in Red instead, because Branded Fusion is not going to get me there. I do finally add the Branded in Red. Then I activated it, targeting my Albaz, and proceed to Fusion Summon by banishing Albaz and my Ad Libitum in hand to make Libellion. I Chain Link 1 Libellion, paying cost, and Chain Link 2 Ad Libitum. Here you'll see me grab whatever I need to add. Grab the Fallen of Albaz, and banish the Adlib and the Fallen of Albaz. If you guys don't know, Ad Libitum will summon a fusion monster back from the banish pile. So, Chain Link 1, Libellion, discarding for cost. And you'll see me explain Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. I discard the Tragedy, second Tragedy in my hand. And you're seeing right here, I'm fanning out my grave, and I'm trying to figure out what to shuffle back. Thinking about what fusion monster. And I did want to go for Dragoon so I can have a follow-up play for negation instead of Mirror Jade. But at the end of the day, I went for Dragoon. I read Libellion again, which is great. And I finally make a decision. Shuffle back the... I'm sorry. I special summon the Despian Quiritus back. And then after that, I shuffle back the Light Hexial Fusion and the Fallen of Albaz. Oh, I made a mistake right here. I shuffled back the Light Hexial Fusion and the Fallen of Albaz. And that makes the Dragoon. Now, here's the misplay. I summoned Dragoon. I still ended up getting game on the next turn, but the proper play should have been summoning Albion from Libellion and then summoning Praskinian, which would have activated in the battle phase and burnt Ethan for however much attack the big Synchro had. Let me know in the comments how I could have handled this a lot better. Also, I do forget that Libellion cannot attack after this effect is used, so I couldn't go for game. And also, my Luber is in defense, and I couldn't go for the last 1,000 life points that Ethan had. At the end, Ethan's at 1,000 life points. I'm going to pass back over to Ethan. He draws. And to bait me, he activates Zefra here in a little bit. There's the Zefra hitting the board. And I preemptively shotgun the Dragoon negate effect. What I didn't know was that Ethan had Cyframe, Gear, Driver, and Gamma. So I discard the chain, and Gamma comes out. Luckily enough, Dragoon is not destroyed. But the effect negation was a activation effect. So I could reactivate Dragoon if I wanted to. On a different chain, I go ahead and activate the Edgem chain and add my Pfeiffer Patchwork. Ethan now has a potential Synchro 8 and can potentially push for game. So here he is thinking about what to Synchro Summon. He goes ahead and Synchro Summons, puts the Gamma and Driver to the graveyard, and he puts down the Draco Berserker of Tenyi. Kind of a Boral Sword effect for our Synchro monsters. This could also push him for lethal, because once the Ghost, or not the Ghost Ogre, the Berserker of Tenyi attacks one of my monsters that are special summoned, it gains its attack and it can attack again. Luckily, I have the Quiritus to protect my field and put him to 0. We do a little bit of discussion on Dragoon's effect and how I can respond with Dragoon again, because his effect activation was negated. Alright, he puts it back on the field. And then at the end of his main phase, I go ahead and activate the Quiritus' effect and puts the Berserker of Tenyi to 0. And again, here's the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon's effect, so you can read it for yourself, because we continue to talk about it. Ethan reads Draco Berserker again. Puts it back on the field. And then I activate Quiritus at the end of main phase, putting his Draco Berserker 0. And to be funny, he goes ahead and attacks the Oluber, which is all 0. Goes to main phase 2, passes turn, and then he scoops. That will give Branded Despia the win, and we move on to game 2. We will now begin game 2, and Ethan elects to go first once again. Ethan starts his turn by activating Sworsoul Emergence and searching Moyi. There's the Sworsoul Emergence and searching Moyi. He then normal summons the Moyi, revealing the Zefraxi in hand and getting a token. Immediately synchros for 8 and goes into Chi Zhao. There's Chi Zhao on the board. He's going to Chainlink 1 Chi Zhao, Chainlink 2 Moyi. He's shuffling real quick. He does get the draw off here. And after that, he goes ahead and searches Long Yuan. There's Long Wan. After this, he goes ahead and activates the Long Wan from hand. There's the Long Wan, pitching the Taya, getting the token, synchros for 10, and makes Baron the floor. There's Baron. Burns me for 1200. After this, he's going to set a scale and then sets 2 more back row and passes. I already knew for a fact at least one of them was a set counter trap, so I'm being careful on what I play. It does take me a while, but I finally open up and normal summon Albaz without effect, and immediately super poly right after, which will super poly the Baron away. And here comes Mirror Jade. There's Mirror Jade on the field, and here's the effect in case you want to read the effect for your information. I activate the chain from the graveyard on a separate chain. And I get to search for Fight for Patchwork. Unfortunately, I did draw both of my chains, so I'm only trying to get rid of all my patchworks. So the only things left in my graveyard or my deck that would be in the Fight for Patchwork engine would be my polymerizations. Right here, I shuffle real quick and I reveal my Albion, the Shrouded Dragon. It's a good card to basically recycle your hand a little bit. And I'm thinking about what to send to my graveyard. So it's send the branded opening to the graveyard so I can protect my fusion monsters, because I know for a fact that one of these set cards is a destruction effect or negate and destroy, so I can at least protect the Mirror Jade from being destroyed if it gets negated. There you go. I put the Albion to the back or to the bottom of my deck, and I get my draw. After this, I go ahead and pretty sure I activate another branded opening, because I think that's what I drew off the top. And I'll discard my Fight for Patchwork that's also dead. And I'll be searching for a Luber. Alright, here comes a Luber on the field in defense position, activating the effect, waiting for Ethan to respond. He will negate with Chi here. Then after that, I will chain my Mirror Jade against Chi, banishing my Albion, or sending my Albion to the graveyard. So here we go. I go ahead and send my Albion, the branded dragon, to the graveyard. And at the end phase, we will be able to grab a branded in red and set it in our field. Ethan thinks about what to respond with my Mirror Jade's effect. The Chi will still resolve and negate the Aluber. goes ahead and flips this set back row, Zefra War, and I immediately activate Branded Opening's other effect to protect my Mirror Jade by banishing Branded Opening. This threw him for a loop. Probably surprised him. Jija goes away, gets banished. Go into battle. Punch for 3k. He's at 5,000. And then on my end phase, I get branded in red. There it is, set to my field. And back to Ethan, and he draws for turn. I don't think he drew any monsters, so I think that's why he was thinking a little bit. And at the end, he just goes ahead and sets one, and then scales another scale. And at his end phase, I go ahead and activate Branded in red, targeting my Fallen of Albaz. Adds it to my hand, and I get to fusion summon one level 8 or higher fusion monster from my hand or field. I banish my Fallen of Albaz and Aluber with the effect of Branded in red, and that will make us the Lobelian. I'll activate the Lobelian, and I will forget to discard. And Solemn Strike gets flipped on me, putting Ethan at 3,500. I'm already close to lethal, and since it was still his turn, I activate Branded Opening again and protect the Lobelian. And here we are. I am trying to figure out what I made a mistake on, and I point to Lobelian, and I ended up discarding the chain, activate the chain so I can get my last Pfeiffer Patchwork out there. And that is Ethan's turn. I will draw here for turn. And immediately skip to battle phase. And right there, he will go ahead and scoop because I'm well over lethal, I believe. Not yet. Right there. He scoops right there, and we get the win for Branded Despia. If you're interested in checking out what I have in this Branded Despia deck, you can check out my latest Branded Despia deck profile in my channel down below.